Welcome back, students. Today again another lesson on the topic joining of sentences for the students of West Bengal Board and ICSE Board. This is part 2, but if you are new, you should start with part 1, which is available in the playlist of the channel. Go there and watch it first, then watch this part. Okay, now go to the instructions, the language of instructions for joining of sentences in the boards of West Bengal and in ICSE board question papers. See, the West Bengal board, join the sentences into a simple sentence or a complex sentence. West Bengal board says this in the question paper, and ICSE board says in the question paper, join the following sentences to make a complete sentence without using and, but or so. So in part 1 I have clearly explained the instructions, so I am not doing this in this part. If necessary, pause this video and read them well and go to part 1 again if necessary, then come back here. Students, we are learning how 2 or more simple sentences can be combined into a simple sentence or a single sentence or a complete sentence by using different elements of English grammar. In part 1, I have discussed how participle is used for joining of sentences in English. Today, we will see the use of noun in apposition. Noun in apposition in joining 2 or more sentences in English. Okay. Now take 1 or 2 examples for the clarification and explanation of the matter. Now see the example. Example 1. Alexander was the king of Macedon. He invaded India. Here see, Alexander, the king of Macedon. The king of Macedon is actually the complement of the subject, and this one is the copulative verb, that means connecting verb. So Alexander and the king of Macedon, they are actually equal. Okay, so we will write the sentence this way: Alexander, comma, the king of Macedon. Now use this part. We have taken this. The king of Macedon invaded India. Now students, now see this. The king of Macedon and Alexander. This is one noun, actually the noun phrase, and this is one noun. These 2 nouns are put side by side, where the second noun is describing the first noun. Second noun is working as an adjective of the first noun. So noun in apposition means side by side. Noun put side by side is called noun in apposition, where the second noun is working as an adjective of the first noun. The second noun, it is noun phrase, is working as an adjective of this. Alexander, who is Alexander? The second noun phrase here is saying that Alexander was the king of Macedon and he invaded India. This one is called noun in apposition. Noun in apposition. Understand? So noun in apposition means 2 nouns put side by side in a sentence where the second noun describes the first noun as an adjective. Okay. This is noun in apposition. So the sentence is Alexander, comma, the king of Macedon, comma, invaded India. The king of Macedon is called noun in apposition. Now see this sentence. Delhi was once the capital of India. Delhi was once the capital of India. Here the same thing. Delhi is equal to once the capital of India. Okay. So it has regained the honor. Delhi was once the capital of India. It has regained the honor. So we can write this way. This is one noun and this is one noun phrase. Delhi, comma, once the capital of India. Okay, once the capital of India, noun in apposition, is describing the first noun. Now this part has regained the honor. Okay, this is called noun in apposition. This is noun in apposition. Okay, this is noun in apposition. Noun in apposition. Okay, students, now clear? Delhi, once the capital of India, has regained the honor. This is a very easy part, so you can understand it easily, I know. So now go to the practice and it will be clear and clear. Practice 1. See, Sri A. Sen is the DM of Howrah. Pause this video and copy these sentences one by one in your notebook. Then do the works yourself and come to this video and check your works with my works. Okay. Number 1. Sri A. Sen is the DM of Howrah. He presided over the meeting. Okay. Number 2. The Himalayas are the highest mountains in the world. The Himalayas are the highest mountains in the world. They are on the north of India. Okay. Number 3. Rabindranath Tagore is the greatest poet of the modern world. He was a Bengali. Rabindranath Tagore is the greatest poet of the modern world. He was a Bengali. These 3 sentences, okay, copy them and do the work in your notebook yourself and check your answer with my answer. Okay. Now see the answer. Sri A. Sen, one part, the DM of Howrah. This is another part. The second part is the complement of the first part, is the noun phrase. More than one words is called a phrase. So here a lot of words are there, so it's a noun phrase. Noun. Okay. So Sri A. Sen is a noun and the DM of Howrah is a noun also. We'll put these 2 nouns side by side by using a comma. It will be turned into a comma. See, Sri A. Sen, comma, the DM of Howrah. What? This part. DM of Howrah presided over the meeting. Presided over the meeting. Okay. The DM of Howrah, this is noun in apposition. Okay. Very easy. Next one. The Himalayas are the highest mountains in the world. Okay. The Himalayas, the highest mountains in the world. These 2 parts will be connected with comma in this place. The Himalayas, comma, the highest mountains in the world. Now for this part, are, comma, are on the north of India. The Himalayas, the highest mountains in the world. This is noun in apposition. Okay. Now come to this sentence. Rabindranath Tagore is the greatest poet of the modern world. Rabindranath Tagore, noun, the greatest poet of the modern world. Rabindranath Tagore, the greatest poet of the modern world, will be connected together with the use of a comma here at this place, right? Rabindranath Tagore, comma, the greatest poet of the modern world. Now take this part, was a Bengali. Okay, so the greatest poet of the modern world, this is noun in apposition. This one can be written in another way also. See, Rabindranath Tagore, comma, a Bengali, comma, this is also noun, so it is called noun in apposition. Noun in apposition. Okay, so Rabindranath Tagore, comma, a Bengali, comma, is the greatest poet of the modern world. This one is noun in apposition and this one is the main noun. Okay, so this is your answer. Now go to the next part. See this part. First one is Akbar was the emperor of India. Akbar was the emperor of India. He was one of the greatest kings of his time. He was one of the greatest kings of his time. Number 2, he lent the book to Mr. Roy. He lent the book to Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy was his next door neighbor. Mr. Roy was his next door neighbor. Number 3, Robert Bruce was the king of Scotland. Robert Bruce was the king of Scotland. He was defeated 6 times by the English. He was defeated 6 times by the English. Now pause the video and do the works yourself. When the works are done, come back and check your works. Check your answer with my answers. Okay. Now see the answer here. Akbar, noun, and the emperor of India, this is also a noun. Noun means noun phrase. Okay, we will put these two nouns side by side, separated by a comma, like Akbar, comma, the emperor of India. Akbar, comma, the emperor of India, comma. Take from this part. The was one of the greatest kings of his time. Akbar, comma, the emperor of India, comma, was one of the greatest kings of his time. This is the answer to the first question. Now go to the next question. He lent the book to Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy. Again Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy is who? Mr. Roy, his next door neighbor. This is was. Here he lent the book to Mr. Roy. Noun, Mr. Roy. Who is Mr. Roy? His next door neighbor. His next door neighbor. This is noun in apposition. Noun in apposition. Okay, Now the next question. Robert Bruce, noun, the King of Scotland. Use side by side. Robert Bruce, comma, the King of Scotland, comma, from here, was defeated 6 times by the English. Robert Bruce, the King of Scotland, this is noun in apposition. Noun in apposition was defeated 6 times by the English. Okay, students? See, check your answer with my answers. Okay, very easy, right? Okay, do this. Next one. The first question. Mr. Kickle was the headmaster of Salem House. He flogged boys mercilessly. Mr. Kickle was the headmaster of Salem House. He flogged boys mercilessly. Number 2. Gaur was once the capital of Bengal. Gaur was once the capital of Bengal. It is now a heap of ruins. It is now a heap of ruins. Number 3. He saw the picture. He saw the picture. It was a masterpiece of art. It was a masterpiece of art. Copy these 3 sentences, 3 sets of sentences in your notebook and do the works yourself. And when the works are done, come and check your answer with my answer. Okay. Now, see the answer. Mr. Kickle, the headmaster of Salem House. Mr. Kickle is a noun. The headmaster of Salem House is a noun phrase. So write this way. Mr. Kickle, comma, the headmaster of Salem House, comma, and take this part, flogged boys mercilessly. Okay. Mr. Kickle, the headmaster of Salem House, flogged boys mercilessly. So, the headmaster of Salem House is noun in apposition. Okay. Now come to the second question. Second one, Gaur, noun, once the capital of Bengal. This is also a noun phrase. Put them side by side. Gaur, comma, once the capital of Bengal, comma, take this part, is now a heap of ruins. Okay. Gaur, comma, once the capital of Bengal, comma, is now a heap of ruins. Okay. Once the capital of Bengal is noun in apposition. Noun in apposition. Okay. Now, this answer. He saw the picture. It was a masterpiece of art. So, picture. He saw the picture. Noun, picture noun, it means the picture, a masterpiece of art, comma, a masterpiece of art. A masterpiece of art is a noun phrase. So, noun in apposition. Noun in apposition. Okay. Now, go to the next part. It is the last part. see the sentences. Copy them in your notebook. Francis Bacon was the Lord High Chancellor of England. He wrote many learned books. He wrote many learned books. Second one, the Gita is the most sacred religious book of the Hindus. The Gita is the most sacred religious book of the Hindus. It is a part of the Mahabharata. The Gitanjali is the most famous work of Rabindranath Tagore. It is a collection of lyrics. Okay. Now copy these sentences in your notebook and do the works yourself. And when they are done, come and check your answer with my answers. Okay. Now see the answer. Francis Bacon, noun you know, and the next part is also noun, joined by was Chancellor of England. So we will join this. Francis Bacon, comma, the Lord High Chancellor of England, comma, take this part, not this, wrote many learned books. Okay. So this part, the Lord High Chancellor of England, noun in apposition. Okay. Now come to this and see. The Gita is the most sacred religious book of the Hindus. It is a part of the Mahabharata. It can be done in two ways. The first one is, see, the Gita, comma, the most sacred religious book of the Hindus, comma, is a part of the Mahabharata. Okay. So the most sacred religious book of the Hindus is the noun in apposition. Okay. And it can be written this way also, that the Gita, comma, a part of the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is the most sacred religious book of the Hindus. This part, a part of the Mahabharata, is here noun in apposition. It is also a noun. The Gita is also a noun in apposition. Okay. Now the last one. The last one is the Gitanjali. The Gitanjali, the most famous work of Rabindranath Tagore. Write this. It can be written in two ways also. See the Gitanjali, comma, the most famous work of Rabindranath Tagore is a collection of lyrics. Okay, the most famous work of Rabindranath Tagore. Noun in apposition. You can write it another way also. See, the Gitanjali, comma, a collection of lyrics, this is noun in apposition, comma, is the most famous work of Rabindranath Tagore. Okay students, you have got your answers. All your answers are correct, I think. This is a very easy part. I will be back soon with another lesson, another part, important part. So keep on waiting for that. Okay. Stay attached, stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you. See you soon.